Hello everyone. Today's video is going to talk to you about the smocking section, which is right here on the heartwarmer cowl. This is a great kind of textured, slightly different looking pattern. It's a great addition to the rest of the interesting stitch patterns on this. You'll see that the pattern is staggered. So this is one section of the pattern, and when you work the next repeat, it actually moves over to be stacked on top of a set of purl stitches. So let me walk you through working this particular part of it, which is in essence a slip stitch type pattern that creates this little gathering at the bottom of each of those sets of knit stitches. So following the instructions, when you get to this section of the pattern, you're going to be working this part of the stitches on a purl 2 knit 4 base. So you can see that I've already got that worked here. So the purl 2 and knit 4 sections. So on the rounds that you're going to be working something other than the purl 2 knit 4, you are going to work for the stitch repeat. It's going to be 2 purl stitches. So that's what I'm working here. Nothing difficult about those, just purl stitches. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to move the yarn to the back as if you were going to knit a stitch. And what you're going to do is count over the 4 knit stitches that you've made on the prior rounds. You're going to insert the tip of your right hand needle into the space between the purl stitch and the knit stitch. So I'm not actually going into a stitch, I'm knitting into the space between those 2 stitches. I'm going to take my working yarn and I'm going to wrap it around the needle tip and I'm going to pull that through. Okay, so I'm just doing this a little bit more loosely so that you can see that where this wrap is, where it sits, and where it's going to be living. Okay, so you want to leave this fairly loose and not super tight. Don't pull it down like that. You want to be able to draw it across the next, or these stitches that you're going to work next, which are the knit stitches. So leaving this loop in place on your right hand needle, I'm just holding on to it with my index finger. I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to knit the next 4 stitches. So there is the 4th one, okay? And you'll see that I have the 2 strands of this loop still in the front. I'm going to take the loop that wants to sort of naturally sit up on top, and I'm going to pull it up and over so that there's one strand of this loop sitting on the front, and there's one strand of the loop sitting on the back, and those 4 knit stitches are now living in between those. So from here, I'm going to repeat that again. So I'm going to go ahead and purl 2, move my yarn to the back. Again, I'm going to count over the 4 stitches of the knit stitches that I've already done on the previous round. I'm going to insert my knitting needle between, so I'm going in between this purl stitch and this knit stitch without going into the stitch itself, so I'm in between those 2 stitches. I'm going to make a loop on my needle and pull that loop through, kind of laying it across the front of my work. I'm then going to knit the next 4 stitches. So there's the 4th one. And again, I'm going to take the loop up and over so that it now is circling the base of those 4 knit stitches. So when you come back around on the next round, you will be working the same purl 2 knit 4 pattern, and you'll repeat that several more times. It's actually another 3 rounds. When you are ready to work the next set of these, and of course all of this is in the instructions, remember that you're going to be staggering this section and this section over. So let me show you what that looks like on this finished version. So here are the 2 purl stitches. Here are the 4 knit stitches that have that loop that we passed over, and then repeating 2 of the purl and 4 of the knit. When you come back around, the center 2 knit stitches are going to, of this block that will have the 4 knit stitches with the pulled over loop over it. The center 2 knit stitches here in this set of 4 knit stitches will be centered over the 2 purl stitches here. So while the instructions tell you exactly how to do this and where to set up the beginning of the purl to knit 4 pattern for this second row, just as a visualization for yourself, know that you will be lining up these 2 purl stitches from this first repeat of the pattern that you did with the center 2 knit stitches now as you're coming around. So you can give yourself kind of a little visual check that way and make sure that you get everything lined up. Once you've completed the original set and the second staggered over set, you'll go back to repeating this set of purl 2 knit 4 with this smocking pattern so that those line back up again. And you'll just repeat that as you work up this section. So again, it's not a difficult stitch pattern. It just takes a little bit of stitch manipulation to get that to look correct. And again, one of the important things is not to yank too hard on this stitch that you've pulled through and you're going to loop over. Let me just show you where those loops are on the back. So that's what those are right there. But it does give you a nice textured pattern, and I would recommend making sure that you've changed from the medium size needle that you're using in this section to the largest size needle here. This, because it's got that slip stitch, it will tend to pull in a little bit, and so going up a needle size will make sure that your gauge stays nice and even and it won't pull in too much when you're ready to get on with the blocking of the cowl. So that covers the smocking section. The next 2 pieces that you'll be working through are this simple eyelet pattern and then the final ribbing. So I was not planning to do a video on the eyelets since those are basic yarn overs and decreases. If you have questions about that though and you'd like to see me work those, please let me know in the Ravelry group. I will be back next week to do a final technical video that will walk you guys through doing this stretchy cast off technique down here at the bottom edge, and that will complete this set of technical videos for the club. I hope you're enjoying knitting this cowl. Please let me know if you have any questions or need assistance with any other parts of this. Happy knitting!